Hey, I'm a game developer. Well, kind of. I'm currently making my first game, and one really important part of making a game is the art. It defines what the game looks like.
What? What? Nah, I never knew that. I never knew that.
This art style is the first impression that a user gets, and a lot of the time, a good art style can attract different users. The problem with this is, I'm not very good at art, and I never have been. In year 7 and year 8, I had a crush on my art teacher, so I wasn't really paying attention in that class. And I never really tried to take up art until I got an iPad, where I spent like £15 on Procreate, thinking I was going to learn how to draw and be this cool and aesthetic guy, just to use it once and never open the app again. So, I spent the last week learning how to draw, specifically pixel art. I chose pixel art because I thought it'd be the easiest to learn and easiest to animate also. So, how did I start learning? Well, I came across a video by Juniper Dev called "The Only Pixel Art Guide You Need, Beginner to Advanced in Parentheses." Wow, what a coincidence, just as I needed a guidance on how to start drawing pixel art. The main takeaway I got from the video was that when colouring in pixel art, you should use 3 colours per material. The base colour, a colour for the shadow, and a colour for the highlight. So that is something I tried to implement in most, if not all of my drawings. A lot of the time, I would also have a ready-made pixel art version of what I wanted to draw as a reference for me to work off of. So my general workflow would be to draw the outline with help from the reference, then colour it in, making sure to use 3 colours per material used. Alright, so into the actual drawing. So let's start off with some of the items that I drew. There were 4 items that I decided to draw, with 2 of them already being in the game. Those being a HP potion and a mana potion. The other 2 I'll talk about later. Oh, so mysterious. Now you have to watch the whole video if you want to know what they are. Right now, the HP potion is kind of just a red circle. So I wanted to change it to be like an actual potion. I originally wanted it to be kind of slanted, but that seemed difficult to draw. So I drew it straight, then tried to slant it from there. But that looked bad, so I just kept it straight. For the color, I didn't want it to be bright red, because I think that would be boring and a bit too bright, and it wouldn't fit the theme. So I made it kind of more purpley, if that's a word. I ended up being proud of this, considering it was my first drawing, although this did take like an hour to do, but we're just going to ignore that. On to the next item. The next item is a mana potion, which, much like the HP potion, is just a blue circle right now. So I wanted to make the shape of the mana potion to be different to the HP one, so it's easier to differentiate. I also made the contents of the potion blue, as that seems like the socially acceptable colour to use when making a mana potion, and I'm a trend follower. I also made like a little swallow in the middle, because it kind of represents how the mana is a living thing, and because it also looks cool. Now, onto the 2 mystery items that I have yet to reveal. Drum roll please. The 2 new items that I've decided to add to my game are coins and bones, with both of them being used as currency, either to upgrade your run or permanently upgrade your character. Coins being used to upgrade your run and bones to upgrade your character. Also, the video glitched, so the tip of me making the bone sprite doesn't exist, but this is what it looks like. So at this point, I don't think it would be crazy to say that I'm on Da Vinci's level. I've made several masterpieces already equal to or even better than the greatest pieces he made. So I decided to challenge myself even further beyond, and decided to start working on some UI stuff. I wanted the UI to have all of your buttons and attacks, and also your HP on the right hand side, and then the actual battle screen to the left of that, kind of like this. So I started off by making the scroll, which would be where all the buttons would be. Then, for each of the buttons, I wanted to make a button-specific artwork. So for the shoot button, I made a gun. Very original, I know. So I made a second one for when you're in the shoot menu. I didn't record me making that because I forgot to record, but this is what it looks like. For the magic one, I went for a mage shooting a fireball, and you can see the reference I used, and overall I think it turned out pretty alright. The mage is a bit chunky, but I stand with the plus size people out there, shout out Lizzo and them. The drawing I did for the melee one is a personal favourite. I decided to draw the famous manga panel from Vagabond of Musashi Miyamoto, even though I've never read or watched Vagabond. This one was especially bad since there wasn't any pixel art of that specific pose that I wanted to do that looked like what I wanted it to look like. So I was just freehanding it and hoping for the best. I also decided last minute to add the water from the panel, and I added a bit of colour that I think it was missing before. Before it was just kind of bland. Next up, I made some sprites for the enemies and also your character. If you've kept a keen eye out, the name of the project is called Graved. The concept of the game overall is that you're a zombie trying to make it back to life by moving through your grave and being enemies where eventually at the end you'll make it back to life. So this is the final look of the zombie, either if you can tell where I got the inspiration from. I also decided to change Grenemy and enemy into real mobs, specifically spiders and skeletons. I also decided to make the rooms look better than just 4 walls and empty space. So I made 4 walls, empty space, but coloured in and some grass and stones in the mix too. And I made 40 different rooms so there's some variance and every room doesn't look the same, so every run doesn't feel the same. I also made some art for the start screen. The screen recording glitched, so you're gonna have to look at this tweaked out sped up version of me drawing it. Some of the other things I made that I didn't record me making was some of the art for the UI, so the health bar, mana bar, as well as the pause menu and the background for the buttons as shown on screen now. So this is what the game looked like initially. You know, there's no sprites, there's no rooms, there's nothing, and this is what the game looks like now. I think it looks much better. You know, there's actual sprites now, the rooms look good, the room looks varied. You know, the battles look good, the UI, I think it's a bit more unique than like a Pokemon where it's at the bottom, and that's not supposed to happen. Okay, wait, hold on, let me just fix that real quick. So this is the actual final game. You can see the start screen, the art there. You know, this is the art here. You know, it all works well. I think it all looks good. That's the new shoot button as well. I just think it all looks good. You know, the characters aren't blended this time as well. You can see the art for the items there. I just think it looks good overall. And that is all for today. I really enjoyed doing this. I think next I'm going to add the actual roguelike elements, and then I'm going to go into animating after that. But that's all for today. Please like and subscribe, guys. It will help a lot. Comment also. And yeah, have a good day.
Baby, you know I'm impatient, and even more now that you're present. I'm feeling my gums when I'm missing, 'cause you're the woman in my world, so I ain't gonna front.